The Divination Wizard is another subclass within Baldur's Gate 3. So this is our Pure Divination Wizard. Levels 1 to 12 and a combat tutorial like always. So let's begin, and we start with the Wizard. And for your cantrips, we're going to take Firebolt, Shocking Grasp, and Ray of Frost. This way we have a range of damage types. We also have the adaptability to have ranged and melee. So we've got Frost, Fire, Lightning, we've got melee and range, and I think that is all around an amazing setup. You could also throw in Bone Chill instead of like a Ray of Frost or a Firebolt, but I think having this selection is your best bet. And for spells, we're going to take Mage Armor, we're going to take Long Strider, we're going to take Thunderwave, one of my favourite spells. We're going to take Tasha's Hideous Laughter. This is really good for just making someone go prone and just knocking them out the fight. Really good spell. We're going to take Shield, because Shield is amazing until the end of the game. It is a reaction, which means you can still use your action during your main turn. You might have burned through a load of spell slots doing this. It's unlikely, to be honest, because you are going to be so far back. But it's just a great way of either protecting your HP or protecting your concentration spells. And of course, Magic Missile, because no wizard or sorcerer or any spellcaster is complete without Magic Missile. For your stat array, we're going to have 8 Strength, we're going to have 14 Dexterity, 16 Constitution, 16 Intelligence, 10 Wisdom, and 10 Charisma. And then for your efficiencies, take whatever you like. Okay, level 2 is where we get to pick our subclass, and of course, Divination. So Portent, your dreams grant you glimpses that let you influence the future. After each long rest, you gain 2 random Portent dice. During the day, you can use your action to change the die of any attack roll or saving throw rolled near you to one of your Portent dice. Each Portent die can be used once, and you lose your unused Portent dice at the end of the day. Really good. You can basically just control like anything. Then when we talk about like battlefield controllers, obviously bards are really good, sorcerers are good, warlocks are good. In my opinion, the best battlefield controller is the Divination Wizard. And of course, Divination Savant, which means we can learn divination spells from scrolls for half the amount. And for spells here, we're going to take False Life, because I love False Life. Gives you 7 temporary hit points. And we're going to take Ice Knife. And when it comes to your spells here, you can really take anything. I think you should keep Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Shield, and Thunderwave. And then this last slot you can sort of play around with. False Life is really good if you want to continue with the healing, all sorts of options. Okay, Wizard level 3. Now we have access to level 2 spell slots. And if you know me and my builds, number 1, we're taking Hold Person. This is phenomenal. Concentration spell. If you land, you hold someone in place, and any melee attack against them is a guaranteed critical hit. We're also going to pair this very nicely with Scorching Ray. It's kind of like Firebolt, but on steroids. Just an amazing spell. Okay, Wizard level 4 gives us access to our first feat. We also get another cantrip, so I would take either Bone Chill, Poison Spray, or Minor Illusion. As I pressed the wrong button, there we go. Access to 2 more spells, and we're going to take Mirror Image, because I think this is a great spell for keeping yourself alive. Once again, amazing for keeping your concentration up. If you can couple this with a few things we're going to do, so Resilient Constitution, Mirror Image, and Shield, and you are just going to be a complete battlefield controller with your concentration spells, your Portent dice, and your near inability to drop concentration on spells. Now, I would also take Misty Step. And this might not be necessary if you have an item that gives you Misty Step, but I think most of the items, if not all of them, are a one and done. Whereas at least this will give you the option of continuously Misty Stepping, and it's a bonus action, which is even better. Now, as I said, we are going to go down to our Resilient Constitution. That's that one. And we're going to take Resilient Constitution. And now we have we have advantage on concentration saving throws because they are based on our Constitution. Okay, Wizard level 5, we have access to more spells. The 2 we're going to start with, Fireball and Counterspell. Fireball, because it's such a big damage dealing spell, a maximum of 48 damage. And then Counterspell, because when we talk about battlefield controllers, Counterspell is a must. And I really like using this on a wizard and a sorcerer as opposed to like a bard or a warlock, especially a warlock. Because we have more spell slots. And therefore we can really control the battlefield. We can really tap into this Divination Wizard. Just having complete control of everything. Okay, Wizard level 6, we have Expert Divination. You may gain an additional Portent die. When taking a short rest, you receive a prophecy. Complete it to regain a missing Portent die. we have more spells. So here we're going to take Glyph of Warding, because I love Glyph of Warding. I think this is a phenomenal spell. You basically create a glyph, you throw it on the ground, and if an enemy walks into it, it triggers. But the best way, in my opinion, to use this is as an AoE like nuke. Put it on a big cluster of enemies. At the end of your turn, it will automatically trigger and blow everyone up. It's so good. I will show you in action, but that is the best way you can do this. And really, you can kind of take anything. You can take haste if you want to. I think there's probably other ways you can use your concentration, like a hold person. But haste is really good, especially if there's like a one and done enemy. So it kind of depends. Sleet Storm is really good. Lightning Bolt is really good. Fly, but I mean, we kind of got Misty Step, so a bit unnecessary. I will take haste, because I think where haste comes in really useful with a battlefield controller is when it's just one big enemy. I'm thinking of the Steelwatch Titan, for example. If you take out the other two, haste is perfect then. Throw it on your fighter, 6 attacks or 8 attacks, whatever it is per round, sorted. And I think that has more use than, say, a hold monster, for example. Okay, Wizard level 7, we now have access to even more spells. And we're going to start with Evard's Black Tentacles, one of my favourite spells in the game. This came in clutch so many times. And this and the Hunger of Hadar coupled together was a godsend during big battles. Cannot stress enough how good this spell is. And then for your next spell, we are going to take Ice Storm. Okay, Wizard level 8, we have access to another feat and more spells. So, we're going to start with Knock. Now, you could take this earlier into the game if you want to, and that would help more. Depends if you're using your setup. So if you have a rogue, for example, who's really good at stealth, why not? If you don't really want to use a rogue and you'd rather have like a wizard, ranger, paladin, and cleric, Knock can really be helpful. But you will burn through your spell slots like crazy. I will warn you. We're also going to take Wall of Fire. Now this is really good because the AI will sometimes make the enemies jump through the wall to get to you, and you can just do so much damage that way. And for your ASI, we're going to take our intelligence up to 18. Okay, Wizard level 9, we have access to level 4 spell slots, and instantly we're going to take Cloud Kill, again one of my favourite spells in the game, a huge AoE attack with an insane amount of damage per turn, and you can reposition it every turn and it will not burn a spell slot, which is phenomenal. We also have Hold Monster, like Hold Person but on steroids, really good way of just hunkering down big towering enemies. Okay, Wizard level 10, we have more spells just innately. So Third Eye Dark Vision. You gain the ability to see in darkness out of a range of 24 meters and see invisibility. Now, unfortunately, when this comes online, a lot of the, well, in my opinion, a lot of the enemies that go invisible are in Act 2, especially I'm thinking of Yrgir. So you'll be a little late to get in this, but it still does have some uses, especially as a free ability you just don't have to select. One more cantrip, and we're going to take Bone Chill. And then we have 2 more spell slots available, and really at this point you can kind of take anything. I would suggest taking some lower level ones. For example, let's take Melf's Acid Arrow, and let's take Clouded Daggers. Okay, Wizard level 11, level 6 spell slots, here we go. First up, my favourite spell in the game, Otto's Irresistible Dance. No saving throw, it causes the enemy to just stand there and dance so they can't attack. It's an easy way to chip out big bosses, because this works on everyone. Auron, Gortash, Savarok, any humanoid, throw this on them and they'll just start dancing, gives you the chance to just kill them. It's unbelievable how good this spell is. And there are 2 options at this point. You could either do Disintegrate, which is 50 to 100 force damage, which is phenomenal, or Wall of Ice. Now what's really good about Wall of Ice is if you can throw this up, it's 10 to 60 cold damage to anyone standing in it. But when it's broken, it basically creates this AoE that again does more damage to enemies. So let's take that for now. And then our final level, Wizard level 12, we get 2 more spells. So you could take Disintegrate if you want to. Please note you do have very limited 6th level spell slots. So you're probably better off, in my opinion, once again, coming down to this range and taking some spells here. For example, taking Flaming Sphere and maybe Sleet Storm. Going to take the ASI improvement, of course, intelligence up to 20. And that is our build complete. Now what you will see here is with our spells, we have a lot of lower level spells despite having level 6 spell slots. The reason being is we're going to be doing a lot of counterspell. We're going to be doing a lot of shielding. And really, we want to kind of save our highest level spell slots for these spells here. And then we kind of want to upcast everything else. For example, counterspell, when an enemy tries to do a really high level spell, you do need to up the spellcast of it. It means we could upcast Fireball, for example. We can upcast Hold Person to target more people. We can upcast things like Glyph of Warding, or even like Magic Missile to do more damage. So ideally we want to save our higher level spell slots for the big damage dealers, and use the smaller little ones for our shields, for our counter spells if possible, and for like our little damage dealing spells, alongside our cantrips. And with our spell selection, you'll see we do have damage dealing spells, but we also have a range of really battlefield controlling and tightening. For example, we have Hold Person, like I said. We have Mirror Image to help us save our concentration spells. We have Glyph of Warding, which is a damage dealing AoE. Counterspell, which is a battlefield control. We've got Envar's Black Tentacles, which is another battlefield control spell. We've got Otto's Irresistible Dance, which can just wipe out the hardest enemy on the battlefield. Wall of Ice, which can cut people off and then deal damage on top. We've got things like Haste to keep people moving really fast and really cut down enemies. And then we've got our damage dealers, like our Cloud Kill, like our Scorching Ray, like our cantrips, our Fireball. Nice range of spells, while still really tightening down and focusing on being that pure battlefield controller. Okay, so that was our build, and let's go with some items. Now for a helmet, for some reason it's not showing, but you kind of want to take the Hood of the Weave here. And this couples nicely with the Robe of the Weave. So, again, a +1 to bonus to spell save DC and spell attack rolls. And whenever the wearer succeeds a saving throw against a spell, they regain 1 to 6 hit points, and +2 to armor class, which is amazing. The Evasive Shoe, so +1 to armor class and acrobatics, because remember, the higher we stack our AC, the more likely we are to hold those concentration spells. High AC, Mirror Image, Shield, Resilient Constitution. Theoretically, you might never drop your concentration saving throws. Braces of Defense, again, +2 bonus armor class, as long as you're not holding a shield or wearing armor, and we are not. The Cloak of the Weave, so this allows you to absorb elements once per short rest, taking half damage from them, and we get an additional 1 to 6 on top of that. So, for example, if we take a fire attack, we can half it, add a 1d6 to our fire damage spells, which is why we've got things like Fireball, that sort of stuff. When it comes to ring, the Strange Conduit Ring. While concentrating on a spell, the wearer's weapon attacks do an additional 1 to 4 psychic damage. Again, not really that ideal, but you might find a situation where someone's next to you, they try to run away, and you accidentally do a reaction opportunity attack with your staff. Can kind of come in handy there, not really that ideal. In your second ring slot, you want to take a ring that adds damage to your cantrips. The Spellcrux Amulet, restore spell slot. Amazing for getting more uses out of Wall of Ice or Otto's Irresistible Dance. I personally would save it for Otto's because that is the best spell in the game in my opinion. The only spell that I can think of that completely destroys an enemy so they can't do anything apart from just stand there and take hits. I think it is better than things like Hold Person, Hold Monster, because there is no spell save DC the enemy can do. We're going to do Mark Shear, Arcane Battery. So we can trigger this and it gives us our next spell slot for free, which means we get our normal level 6 spell slots and essentially 2 extra with the Spellcrux Amulet and the Staff. So that is the build. Let's go take it into action. I'll show you just how good the Divination Wizard is. Okay, now as soon as you leave camp, there are one thing you want to do, and that is of course Mage Armor. Now don't upcast this, there's no point. As you will currently see, we are sitting at 17 armor class. So Mage Armor. Get that going, and now you see we're at 20 AC, just amazing. Okay, so you see we just got hit, and now we have our portent dice. So for example, let's take the 2, and there you go, we changed the roll, so now they missed us. And that is why the Divination Wizard is the best battlefield controller, because you can just force things like this to hit or miss. We'll do it again, and there you go, another miss, and now we're not ensnared, which means our rogue is now free to keep attacking on its next rounds. Okay, so we're going to start off, and of course we're going to start with our Arcane Battery. Now we have a free spell slot, so of course we can come in here with Wall of Ice, we could do Otto's. Let's start with Wall of Ice. Now this is concentration, but we're going to throw it here. Can we do this? Yes we can, there you go. So, the Wall of Ice is here. And again, our AC is so good that we're continuously not getting hit. And again, they need to hit us, port and die, and they have now missed. And this doesn't use any spell slots. Now you see the enemies on the top of the wall of ice there, now unable to do anything. So you've seen that we use our Arcane Battery to get a free level 6 spell slot. Now we can do the same thing. So let's come in here and we'll do Otto's Irresistible Dance. And as you can see, this exploded, so we dropped concentration on this, but the icy cloud caused damage to poor Sledge here, almost wiping her health pool out. So even though we dropped concentration, we still dealt damage after the fact, which is what makes Wall of Ice so good. And as you can see here, the enemy is dancing, there's no save available, and now they can't really do anything apart from get hit. As you can see here, just like that. And again, another big miss, and another big miss. Really good at just maintaining concentration. And as you see, their turn just completely evaporated because they just stood here dancing, meaning we can just keep wailing away at the enemy. Now, let's say we wanted to do concentration again. So we come in here, and this time let's do a lower one. Let's do a hold person. And let's try and target 3. Target you, and can we see you? We can. And there you go, all 3 are now held and just completely out of the battle. There is nothing that they can now do apart from just stand here until we lose concentration. And what's really good about this is, as you can see, this enemy is down here, so if we were to run over here, for example, they are unlikely to be able to hit us now. Which means we can come in here, and every melee attack is a guaranteed crit, as I said. Just like that. Even your like divine poisons and stuff is going to be the max roll possible. As you can see, they just can't do anything. And how this works amazingly is if you have like a rogue who can sneak attack, because they will have a guaranteed critical hit sneak attack. Just like that. And what's really good about this, as you might have just seen, we've got 10 temporary hit points. Depending on your party composition, if you compare this off with someone that has like a Sword of Life Stealing, who gains 10 temporary hit points when they do a critical hit, you can technically control the battlefield and buff your enemies, or sorry, your allies, in the same turn, depending on what your composition is and your items. And again, now we have 10 turns to just defeat the enemies, and as long as we don't lose concentration, they'll just stay like this, which means we can just take it nice and easy, just using normal attacks, get those big crits, save spell slots with other characters,
Time to push my luck again.
and let's buff ourselves up even more. So let's take a mirror image, because this is not a concentration. So now, if we come over here, we'll just stand in his line of sight. You'll see our AC is now 29. So you can land these concentration spells, buff yourself up, and you can just stay here. So powerful. And we've got a concentration spell. We buffed ourselves up. Now we can do our normal spells. So let's do a level 2 Scorching Ray. And there you go. So we're still buffed, still have a concentration, and now we can deal damage on top. Divination Wizard really is one of the most powerful classes, in my opinion, in Baldur's Gate and D&D. Again, as you can see, the enemy is now trying to attack us, but Mirror Image is just coming in clutch. We still have one use of it. Now again, we have things like our Glyph of Warding, so let's throw this down. Glyph of Warding, Lightning. We'll throw this here. So usually, you throw this down and then when an enemy walks into it, it will trigger. But, as I said, you can throw it down at the end of your turn and it will trigger. And let's say we don't like how close they're getting to us. We just Misty Step out of the way. Just like that. And there you go, Mirror Image once again, coming in, and we get to show off this ability now. Do shield, and again, missed everything. As you'll notice, our wizard has been in the front, hasn't taken a single ounce of damage. And we still have the ability from up here, we can start doing some more spells. And let's just do a normal, you know what, let's show off something else. Let's do Envard's Black Tentacles if we can, just because I love this spell. So can I throw this down? Let's try and get it here. There you go. Now unfortunately they saved, but this is it. As you can see, the legs are now red, so this is difficult terrain. And this is a great way if you throw this up, and then have another one person to throw up like a cloud kill, make enemies really slow to walk through, and take mass damage. And that is as easy as it is. The Divination Wizard is by far the best battlefield controller. I will stand by that until the day I die. It's amazing. I always use this on Gale because it's just so powerful, and it's a great way of just completely getting enemies just removed from the battlefield or nullifying them so much that you can just pick them off super quick. So that was my Divination Wizard build. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please drop the video a like and let me know in the comments what you would do differently, what you'd change, for example. If you're new and you haven't subscribed but you'd like to, that'd also be amazing, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next build. Bye guys.